Hello, everyone. Welcome to Week 8's Prime Time. I am joined with Knight. It's me, Stevens, and we'll be going over everything that's happened so far over the past season, and we're going to look ahead to playoffs. So, welcome to the stream. I hope you're all well. I hope you've all finished up your matches. And yeah, Knight. So, how you doing?
Yeah, doing very good. Obviously, I know a lot of you probably got out of some matches about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes ago. So we're still waiting for some results to come in. Made some notes on every division. I think honestly, 3 to 4 of the 6 divisions right now are so tight and so close. We're gonna have to look at that pretty closely. And definitely in the chat, let us know if you're still waiting for some of your team reps to post your scores, kind of what some of the outcomes were. We'll kind of be like crunching this up on the fly. But yeah, it's pretty exciting just to see kind of what's kind of went down. I mean, a lot of the divisions like even had matchups that were coming down to the wire. I'm literally got a pen and paper out, been crunching out all these numbers, even been talking with Stevens last night. So we're super excited to kind of go into it division by division.
Yeah, so I suppose we'll go ahead and start with Division 6. And yeah, it's been overall quite an interesting season for them. I remember a lot of people saying that Kevo Three's gamers were going to run away with it, but this is actually a really tight division. Looking at all of the results so far, you've got Megan Lahua after week 7 on top with 16 points, and then Kevo Three's gamers and Team Cafe are all on 5-2 records, and then KVT 4-3, HN 2-5, and Boo Bombs are last with 0-7. But looking at the schedule for the last few weeks as well, KVT actually have the nicest schedule out of the teams, and that kind of opens the door for them to leapfrog a few teams as we go into the last few weeks. But let's look at the results that happened in the previous 7 weeks. And right off the bat, we saw Hardcore Noobs make a surprise, well, based on everything now, they make a surprise win against Meiji Lahua in week 1. Um, and yeah, that was the other two results were, well, TC beat KVT, and then Kevo Three's Gamers beat Boo Bombs. And yeah, like from
Yeah, I
there,
mean, this
just
division is just actually very hype right now. I got to give a shout out. My inner D6 is actually just screaming because this division. First off, if you don't know, or if you're one of us that plays in the conference format, it's running a round robin system, and there's basically I believe 2 more weeks after this, so they're going to be playing
yeah,
10 total more games. And right now, just from what we're seeing come in, we have ML coming in right now after this going into this week. Let's be clear, 5-2 with Kev's Gamers, Team Cafe, Cart Vendors down a game. Even also just want to give a shout out to Boo Bombs. I believe they were formerly known as Italy Infinity for kind of becoming that sixth team in to take over for Melopolis Assembly. So good shout out to them for at least keeping it in it and keeping this even. But now what's really crazy is coming in, we're seeing that Team Cafe took up a huge win over making Yajua, and that's huge. ML was a really solid team when I played them last season, and just really well done for them. Now they're moving up to 6-2, where we noticed that Hardcore Noobs pulled an upset on Kev's Gamers, and I don't know what that team dynamic is. There's something about them or one of their players like Kev going to the mall every time and like missing MKU. So hopefully that situation's sorted out, or at least he's gotten some good deals post or before the pandemic. But they're going to be going down to 5-3 because Hardcore Noobs, they're out of the playoff picture, but they're doing a good job there. And then yeah, Team Cafe now has this 1 game lead, and we have to assume, I think you mentioned this, Steve, is that Boo Bombs is probably going to lose to KVT. KVT is also going to jump to 5-3. So that's kind of how that's shaping up. It's still a very tight division, but Team Cafe's win here over ML, that's going to put them up by a game.
yeah, that's true. And looking into the last 2 weeks, ML play Kev's O3 Gamers and KVT, whereas O3 Gamers they play ML and TC. TC play Boo Bombs and O3 Gamers, and then KVT play Hardcore Noobs and Making Lahua. So honestly, any of these teams can win any of those. It's been so close throughout, and it's gonna be kind of hard to predict how this div ends up finishing. To be honest with you, because literally any one of those four teams can come up with the win.
Yeah, I think if you're Team Cafe with this game up right now, you got to be thinking hardcore noobs looking pretty good facing Boo Bombs and then Kev's Gamers. If they could pull the upset on ML, they are for sure capable of pulling it on Kev's team. But Kev's team also has to face ML and TC. That's not looking too good from a strength of schedule for them. And then, as you mentioned, I think KVT does have the easiest strength of schedule. They're facing Boo Bombs today, hardcore noobs, but the hardcore noobs did just pull the upset, and then they're facing ML in the closing week 10 for them. So yeah, this is wide open, and this has been one of the more hyped D6 seasons that I've seen personally.
Yeah, so we'll see how this wraps up in the last coming weeks. But I think we should go ahead and move on to Division 5 now.
We should, and I hate to say it, but there's always got to be one division that's kind of locked up, and this is Division 5. So realistically, if you're looking at this division, you had Ape come in 11-3 there in the Conference A with RF making a pretty solid comeback. They've had a pretty good run of wins. They're at 10-4 in second place, and then on the Shock Conference, you kind of have Carnita Asada and Kame House. They've kind of locked up those two spots, but the wild card race also basically locked up with Sunset and Gomez Puma being able to secure those spots. I think synchronized dropping has definitely helped those teams kind of secure those spots for them. Equilibre, unfortunately, or Libre, not sure how you pronounce it. Again, they're 2 games back, so at the very worst case, they're going to be able to potentially tie. But I believe Geo did end up winning because they had the game up on synchronized. So kind of unfortunate there. It's kind of a done deal, but good for those teams as they can focus on the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. So, and if you're looking at these results as well, KA they've beaten everyone so far, so they're definitely favourites going into the playoffs. And then obviously you've got Kame House on the same conference. They've also got the next best record, so you never know. Like they could pull an upset if they play really well against Kaiden Asada, but you've got to be really worried when KA's MVP is averaging like 140 in the div, and that's actually crazy. I think that's the highest average I've seen in 8D. So that's nuts.
So
But
one thing I just noticed as I was seeing some of these come in is that Gomez Puma beat Sunset. So realistically, that's going to bring them to 8-7. There's still a couple games coming in that we're still looking at. Obviously, this table's not updated from this current week, but that would mean that Sunset likely is not going to be able to go ahead and take over RF for that spot at number 2, which means likely in this Division 4 or 5 situation that Ape, RF, Sunset, and Go, they're all going to be advancing. So in the event that 4 teams advance from the same conference, that's going to mean that team seeded 4 will face team number 2. So in this case, it looks like it could be Go versus RF. But that being said, Go did end up beating Sunset. I think we're waiting to see what the result is of Sunset's second game because that's going to determine ultimately if there could be a potential tiebreaker situation. And with Go beating Sunset at least one of the times, that's going to be a factor. But it looks like it would be Go versus RF. Sunset, because they're the third team in the A, they're going to be playing Kame House, and then Carnita Asada will be facing the winner of RF and Go. And then KA will be facing the winner of Kame House. No, Carnita Asada will be facing the winner of the RF Go match, actually.
yeah, and then Ape will be facing the winner of the other match
Yes, I
because they're the
completely
division
butchered
winners.
that. But yeah, A3, if we're assuming it's going to be Sunset, they are going to be facing Kame House. They're going to be going up against Ape. Forgot to mention Ape. RF and Go, they're going to be going up against Carnita Asada. That's correct.
Yeah, yeah, very much so. And yeah, I think KA are definitely the favourites for the division here. I know I already said that, but we're just gonna have to wait and see how these matches go.
So they're saying that Sunset went 10-6, so that would kind of make a little bit of sense. So Go is going to only get to 9-7, so that's going to be correct. It's likely going to be the
Yeah,
pairings. And
but
yeah, I mean, as far as a prediction, I mean, I thought KA would have been D4. I think they're unstoppable. I think Ape's going to give them, or KH could be a little bit of a threat. Even RF too. They've been on a good run. They've been even upsetting some D4 teams in America's Cup. So this is a wide open playoff, but I think KA could potentially run away with this.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, it feels that way. But yeah, not really sure what else to say about this division. A lot of it seems pretty set in place right now. And oh yeah, you got Higher Octave and Melodia Pirouette who are in the automatic relegation spots. And unless anything drastic has happened, I think it's going to stay that way because I see that X Project they have won at least. Oh no, wait, I'm not sure actually if that was a
They're 3-11 going into
big.
today, and it looks like from what's gone on, they yeah their games haven't come in yet. So, but X Project, an interesting thing about them, very close to them, been their division rival for 2 seasons. They kind of lost the majority of the team to RF, some of their top runners. So they've kind of had to find their identity all over again. They moved up a division. So unfortunately for them, the timing didn't really work out. But Kike, Secret, and a lot of that team has been doing a really good job trying to keeping things going, and they were just kind of fighting it out. I'm very impressed with Equilibre as well, getting to 5-9, especially two in their first season. So that's good to see.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I think
yeah,
so. It looks like Inca Warriors and X Project will be playing the relegation promotion match between D5 and 6.
yeah. So that would be IW and XP then.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. And then obviously those bottom two spots are direct relegation down.
yeah,
Yeah, so it's interesting because I know some teams today. It's a good segue into D4, kind of in that similar situation. There was a little bit of drama, at least, or good drama, I should say, going into the Division 4 side of things. Can definitely talk about this because this is my home division, but I don't know if we can go to the table for D4 at the moment, but it's kind of locked up at the top. A lot of movement down at the bottom. So the biggest thing here is TR Esports kind of running away with the conference in A. Kira team also securing a spot in Final Emblem as well. These Spanish teams just doing a phenomenal job. Uh, I know our team went 0-3 against all three of them collectively. Then you had
yeah,
Exodus that did just secure about 15 minutes ago their spot over PH. Uh, just we just got unlucky, and we didn't even have players available despite the worldwide pandemic that we were having. So it's unfortunate, and they did a really good job after a couple losses in the first two races to just take advantage of us, and they're going to be that sixth seed all wrapped up. Phoenix ended up winning today against NRB, and I'm not sure the second game as well. There might have been a little bit of movement there, but Z10 winning last night against Exodus still puts them a game ahead of Phoenix, so they're going to be in that B1 spot. So realistically, you're looking into this division. You're going to have SC and NRB, unfortunately, going to D5. RB and MR likely going to be in the catbird seat playing for that relegation match. It is a little bit interesting though because SE did end up losing one of their games. I'm confident that they're going to win their other game. I haven't checked the standings there, but if things were to remain equal now, because the top teams have kind of already locked themselves up, you're going to have TR getting the bye. They're going to be going up against A3 and B2, and that's going to be Final Emblem in Phoenix. So the Final Emblem Phoenix matchup will go up against TR, which leaves Kira Team and Exodus to be going up against Z10. So
might have to double check on that one because I think Z10 went 1-1, but Phoenix, if they won their other match, like Phoenix won both of their matches and they beat Z10 by a comfortable margin, so there's a chance they might leapfrog Z10 to take the uh, the tiebreak Conference
there
B win.
is there is a chance of that too. So the thing that would change there is that Phoenix would actually take that bye. They would be going up against that Cura team Exodus matchup, and then it would be Phoenix if they were in that spot there at B1. They'd be going up against that would be the
And
Cura team and Z10. No,
yeah, no, wait. So I've got here
Final
Kira
Emblem
team.
and Z10. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Because the
yeah,
biggest
that's
thing is
correct.
it's not so much weighted. That's what's interesting about this. On the wild card position, it's based off of the conference position. So there's either two situations in which case you can decide who you're going to be playing in the playoffs. It's going to be the third team in Conference A going up against the second team in Conference B. And then they face A1, which has to bye. followed by A2 and B3 facing B1, which has to bye. But in the event that there are four teams that do make it from one conference, like we saw in Division 5, that fourth team in that conference that has four will play the number two team in their conference, in case
Yeah.
anyone's wondering. But yeah, so this has been an interesting division, very, very close, especially Conference B being very kind of back and forth. Z10 got some really clutch wins. PH and yeah, unfortunately for us, we kind of threw the season away from being 6-2, then going to 7-7. Very unfortunate for us. Exodus kind of holding it on their own. NRB pulling an upset with a draw over them, having some really strong games. MR as well. Phoenix, biggest breakout team I think you need to watch out for next season is going to be Silence Eclipse. They really surprised everybody here in D4, and kind of curious to see what they're going to do. They pulled off some pretty big upsets here, and they're also in the premier bracket now of America's Cup.
Yeah, it looks like as the season's gone on, Silence Eclipse have slowly started to improve, which is always nice to see. So we'll see how they fare coming into season 10.
Yeah, and the craziest thing is honestly, like, some of these divisions were kind of hyped, but divisions 1 through 3 are the tightest. So we're 20 minutes in. As much as I love D4, that's going to be it for now. I think the Spanish teams have a real clear advantage here, and someone's gotta go up against TR Esports for sure.
Yeah. Again, based on the records, you think TR Esports will take it, but it's a bit closer than D5, I'd say. So there's a chance that teams like KT and Z10 and Final Emblem can be able to take it.
Yeah, Z10, they've
So
been very clutch. They've just been having some narrow wins. So that's just been kind of the thing that I'm just a little bit curious about for them, and how the time change plays a factor into the teams they're going up against and things like that, if they're hosting or not. So we'll have to see how Z10 does. They're going to be definitely a spoiler here for sure. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what D4 does. But I'm actually ready to go into D3 because
yeah,
there's a lot of different things going on in D3 as well.
yeah. So looking at D3, in Conference A, you've got Jean-Pierre Papin with a 12-2 record, and then Special 7, 9-5 record. Melodia Aria, 6-1-7. V2 with 5-9. YF Odyssey, 1-13, and After Dark, 1-13. And then, yeah, you got Black Wolves winning so far up to week 7 with an 11-3 record. POD, and then QK, DY, Wet, and Snow Angel. And looking at this, JPP have, they've got the best record. But that's with only BW and POD just going into this week, one and two games behind. It's going to be really close again to see who takes the division win overall here. I'm not
So
sure.
this is crazy. I was doing some math, and the wild card is kind of the biggest key for this division. I mean, some of the positions are going to shift around, no doubt, but when you have this many teams still mathematically in this, and I'm guessing the chat is lighting up right now, but basically you have Equivoke, Dynamite Omega, Wheelie Clan, you have even Melodia Aria with a small chance as well, and Melodia Aria, they ended up beating V2 on Saturday night, and they have the free win against After Dark for dropping. So they went to 8-1-7.
Yeah,
So Equivoke, because they had the free win over Snow Angel, they dropped their 2 games today, and Dynamite Omega. Dynamite Omega, again, having an interesting thing happen with some of the movement there between some of the players. I don't exactly know what happened to them, but unfortunately, they dropped both games today. So they're going to move to 7-9. Or actually, they are 7-9. They're going to move to 7 oh no, this is updated. Oh, whoever did the D3 one. Okay, cool. Yeah,
oh
so
yeah,
they
it's
moved to
updated.
7-9.
Yeah.
So okay, D3
Okay.
admin, good for you. Yeah, so that means that we Elite Clan. I did all this work for. We Elite Clan got their 2 wins over Pirates of Duisburg by 6 points, by the way, 495-49, and then they got a win
Damn.
over Diamond Omega. So they were able to just clutch themselves in there. Melody Aria too, kind of getting that free win and the V2 win. Unfortunately, being that game behind, the tie ended up killing them. But a
Yeah.
great effort there at the end, and Equivoke, luckily was able to kind of grasp onto the free win there from Snow Angel. But man, that could have, the free wins definitely helped out a couple teams, but We Elite Clan had to earn their spot in the wild card.
Yeah, they certainly did. And they managed to just pull it off, which is it's good for them. So well done, Wack. And that means that heading into playoffs, we're going to see, I believe it's Pirates of Duisburg versus. There's going to be four from division
So,
four from the second conference. So yeah, Pirates of Duisburg versus We Elite Clan, and then they will play. The winner of that will play JPP2, and then it will be Special 7 versus.
they're going to be facing Melody. No, they're going to be facing Special 7 got, that would be A2. They're going to be facing B3, which would be Equivoke. So they're going to be facing Equivoke, and then they're going to be going on to face Black Wolves in the second round. So we're
Oh,
going to
right.
have S7 and
Pirates of
Equivoke going
Duisburg,
on to
Pirates of
Black
Duisburg and Wet,
Wolves.
sorry.
Pirates of Duisburg and WEC going on to face JPP.
Yeah,
Because of the fact
gotcha.
that WEC is going to have to go. It's funny, they're going to have to do a rematch, and again, if it's that's going to be one to watch. Again, if it was a close one, I mean, I'm going to just go ahead and take a look at this table, 495 to 389 with and even Deno MVP in there for POD. Just unfortunately, they had a player score honestly 59, and the bottom player on WEC got a 65. I mean, it's pretty crazy just seeing that distribution. Very close, obviously, and yeah, that's going to be a really crazy rematch to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I think a lot of these matches can honestly go either way, to be honest with you. So we'll have to wait and see next week how all these matches fare. The ones that I'm looking forward to are, uh, yeah, POD and WEC, Battle of the German Clans. See who comes out on top there.
Especially too after just having this match, they're going to have to go run it back. And if it was just if it's going to be as sweaty as what just happened, I mean, I can't imagine. That's going to be a really exciting playoff run. And luckily for JPP and PW, they're going to at least have a little bit of time to breathe before they find out who they're going to be playing. But again, the records don't lie. I mean, 14-2, 13-3. These teams are again really good looking into going to potentially D2.
Yeah, very much so. It's going to be interesting to see. And
Yeah, I mean, I think that might do it for D3. I mean, this has just been such a tight division. Uh, you know, Even with After Dark dropping, unfortunately YF not having a good run, but all the other teams are really competitive in this. And yeah, just really curious to see how this is going to unfold, especially to the POD WEC matchup. I just can't imagine what that's going to be. And I don't know. I don't know this division too well. I think that this is a little bit more open. Do you have a prediction for who you think might take the win?
D3, I'm gonna I'm gonna say JPP.
I'm thinking that too. I think that WEC's going to have a lot of momentum, but they're going to get stopped short there. I think PW might be a little bit of a handful for whatever team they're going to be facing, Equivoke or S7. But you never know. Equivoke's been a team that's been pretty dominant after winning their division last season and having some momentum now, making playoffs this season. So we'll have to see exactly how that'll play out. But D3 proven to be a very hyped division, and time will tell to see who's going to be coming out on top.
Absolutely. So with that, shall we? Oh no, wait. We have to talk about relegation matches. So with both Snow Angel and After Dark, I believe dropping, it's going to
Yeah,
see YF2 and
and
sorry,
Dynamite Omega.
yeah, I believe so.
That'll be interesting for sure, especially with some of the movement on DY. So that'll be kind of unique how that plays out. Again, they're going to be going up against, some of the teams that are in the playoffs of Division
D4,
4. Yeah, so, I could be looking to see potentially maybe Kira team there, just off the top of my head, potentially Final Emblem, Z10. You never know.
yeah,
Phoenix
TR
as
as well.
well. that's a little bit open, and that'll be a good that'll be a good relegation match for sure. However, that kind of plays out because I think those Spanish teams will rise to the top in D4, but ultimately, that there's going to be so much movement there in those earlier rounds of the playoffs for D4 that I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of curious because DY Omegas has had that movement. They've fallen off a little bit concerning there. But Yoshi Family Odyssey again, it's not really getting off to the great start that they had, and that's just a little bit interesting to me.
Yeah, yeah, they didn't end up finishing the season as well as they perhaps hoped, and it's seen them drop down to fifth, but in their conference. But hey ho, these things
Yeah,
happen.
I know After Dark they just wanted to kind of pull out midseason and kind of just make some adjustments. They didn't have the right availability, and I think they're aiming to go to D4 next season. So we'll have to see exactly how MKU will figure that out with seedings. But it kind of makes sense just from what we saw from them earlier on. But time will tell. I mean, there's going to be teams moving, players moving, and it's going to be pretty hype.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, and with that, I believe it's time to move on to Division Two.
It like keeps getting more exciting. Like D5, I'll just say this, with synchronized dropping, kind of just solidified those teams up there. D6 starting off on this cast, pretty hype with four teams still in it. And then you kind of got D4, a couple cool things there for that final spot. You got D3, which is just all over with WEC just clutching it out there at the end. And D2 and D1, very similar situation. You're looking here right now, and this table is not updated as of today, but you have Nove as well. Nove coming in today against Inflow and World Friend. You have Arcterra there at 9-5, who are facing Banana Legion and Princess Monarchy. So you got to think that there might be some options for them there. World Friend Moon in the wild card spot going up against Princess Monarchy and Nove today. Euphoria RA going up against Dynamite Alpha and Cherish. So that's an interesting matchup there. Banana Legion, I heard they're facing Arcterra and Inflow. So there's a lot of different things that could be happening in DY
Yeah,
Alpha and Horizon as well in there too. So really crazy. Cherish even has kind of a small chance to make it in, but it really kind of came down to how WF, Euphoria, BL ended up doing.
looking at some of the results so far, Banana Legion they beat Arcterra, but they lost against Inflow. Um, so that puts them at 8-8 overall. Euphoria Ra, I don't think any results for them have come in yet. I can't see anything. So honestly, it's a
Yeah,
bit
so Mushroom
unsure. It
Team.
depends on how Euphoria Ra have done against their opponents today, as to whether BL have snuck in or if Euphoria keep the last wildcard spot.
Yeah, so BL went 1-1 because Inflow beat them by 130. So they're going to be ending at 8-8 as well with Arcterra. No,
Okay, I'm hearing from
Arcterra is going
Twitter
to
that
9-5. And
okay, so
they did lose to BL, and then Arcterra's second match was a win against PM.
yeah,
So they ended up going 10-6. Take that back. So that's good. That's good for them. They didn't really have any issues in the playoff here. Sky obviously a little bit of a different situation, but World Friend Moon, they did beat PM, and they're also going up against. We don't have the table yet against Nove. So just making the assumption there that maybe they went 9-1-6 to end the season.
yeah,
That's
I'm not sure
relatively good for
if
them. Maybe the chat can help us out there on that one, but
yeah, I think okay, so it looks like yeah, I'm being told by Twitter that Euphoria Ra have kept the last playoff spot.
okay, cool. Yeah, because they ended up beating. Now that I'm looking at it, they lost to DY
And
Alpha
WF
today.
Moon have beat lost to Nove, I believe. So
Okay, so WF Moon losing. Yeah, so that they're now 1-6. So DY Alpha beats Euphoria, and then for Euphoria, they also face Cherish as well. So the
yeah, and
interesting thing
they
there
beat
is
Cherish.
they beat Cherish, they would have gone 2-0, so they end at 10-6. So
No,
it looks like
nine
for
nine and five.
BL,
because I think they lost to DY.
They did. I can't look at the right score. So yeah, so they did. So they went 9-7.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this is
9-7.
really interesting because you have Euphoria at 9-7, World Friend Mood at 9-1-6, BL ending at 8-8, and I'm gonna go back to this table here. I mean, that is just crazy. So it looks like that it was World Friend Moon hanging on. It's going to be BL getting the short end of the stick, unfortunately, going 1-1 because Euphoria also went 1-1. So that wouldn't have really changed the fact that BL's still a game behind. So that being said, that does, I think, lock up the playoff picture there with World Friend at 9-1-6, and then with Euphoria there at 9-7. That would mean that Euphoria would hypothetically jump up against WF Moon, right?
Sorry, say that again. I was just writing a couple notes.
So Euphoria beats, or no, because they lost to DY, they beat Cherish, so they end at 9-7. World Friend
Yeah,
Moon beats Princess Monarchy, loses to Nove, that makes them end at 9-1-6. So, oh, that being said, okay, no,
no,
World Friend would still be a half a game ahead of Euphoria. So with that being said, that would mean that we're seeing three and
Arc.
three.
Yeah, so that means the playoff matches, I believe, if everything is right, Arc 2 versus EU2, heading, and the winner will play Nove, and then Horizon versus World Friend Moon, and then the winner will play DY1.
I think the only difference there is that the Nove is going to be facing. Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, yeah. They'll be facing Nove, and then yeah. So then we're going to see World Friend Moon and Horizon go on to place. Oh, they're going to go on to place Nove, face Nove, and then the winner of Arc Terra and B3,
Horizon.
which is Euphoria, will they'll go on to play
Wait,
against
wait.
DY.
I got this. Okay.
No, you were right. You were right about the opening match. The buys were switched. So So basically, B1's going to face A2, B3. So that's going to be Dynamite Alpha in the Catbird seat. They're going to be facing Arcterra and also B3, which is going to be Euphoria, the winner of that match. So Arc 2 against Euphoria 2, winner faces DY Alpha, and then it's going to be World Friend Moon up. Nope, I messed that up. It's going to be A3. Yeah, World Friend Moon versus Horizon. Winner of that is going to go face Nove.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you got to think
Although I'm
about this for
seeing,
a little bit because this conference format's a little bit unique, especially too if there are going to be a couple of teams from the same conference that'll make it in like four.
yeah, okay. So based on these matches, what was it? I think Arcterra beat Euphoria across the season. So we'll see if they can do that again. And it's going to be interesting to see how Horizon play because now they can't play with Reese. So that will weaken them a bit and gives a bit of an advantage towards. Um, oh, apologies, saying. Okay, so we lost the EU. But so there's a chance for them to come up and get the revenge on them. But there, Horizon without Reese is going to hit them quite badly,
For
I
sure.
think. And then so I can see perhaps WF taking that, but we'll see how HT manage to fare if they can keep up their teamwork without him. And then obviously because Dynamite have the best record and everything, I reckon it's going to be very close between them and Nove if both those teams see out the other four teams.
Yeah, then on the other end of things, you have PM and YF Galaxy going back to D3. Kind of unfortunate for YF this season because their other team as well, they're going to be going to D4, but hopefully that works out for them. And Inflow and Mushroom Team Soul are going to be in that relegation match with some of the playoff contenders from D3. So that'll be kind of unique as well.
Yeah, so we'll see how they manage to fare against teams like uh, JPP, BW, and Equivoke, and the rest of them.
Yeah, it's really interesting too when you're kind of in that. that fringe area. You're like, bottom of one division, kind of upper in the top. We've seen a lot of great things from PM. Again, I mean, just a season ago, they were the most dominant force or one of the most dominant forces in, I believe it was D3 or D4. I don't know if they went down just one division, but my mind's making me think that they were D4. I'm not entirely sure, but it was the time where Samovar was just running away with things. But again, very excited to see what they'll do maybe down in that other division D3. But this is going to be again another hype division. Nove teams are getting closer and closer to beating them. They still look pretty dominant. I'm not sure what might happen here, but I would just still not rule out Nove again from what I've seen from some of their MKU primetime matches and warring them in general. But there's a lot of talent, especially here in this D2 division.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there's a lot of matches that can go either way, to be honest with you. And I'm excited for this division next week. It's going to
Yeah,
be
I'm
really good.
I'm excited, and yeah. With that being said, we're saving the best for last, and that's going to be Division One. So, kind of spent a little bit of time, about 40 minutes, going through all of the divisions here, and yeah, I'm just kind of curious just to see exactly what we kind of have going up our way, and yeah, I mean we do have this is the table going into today, just FYI for everybody that is looking, and so. Prestige again coming in 11-3. Requiem there at 10-2. Star Clan, Euphoria, A team. They're going to be fighting for that wild card spot. In the other conference, you have World Friend. You have High Definition. That looks pretty confident or has secured a berth there in their conference. But you also have Mushroom Team, Vertex, and even potentially Arcadia Sky. Unfortunately, there was this crazy scenario we kind of played out last night. I was talking with you, Steve, and Brandon, and unfortunately, I think at some point it kind of fell through the cracks. Like they needed like a team to win, they needed to go 2-0, and they needed one team to beat another team or something like that. And
Yeah, I think
unfortunately,
we needed MT to beat VX, I believe, and we needed JPP to beat either one of StarClan or EU, I think, and then we needed to go 2-0. But unfortunately, I don't think any of those happened. So it didn't work out for us in the end because the wildcard spots are as they currently stand on the table, which are StarClan and EU, taking up those final two spots. And just to note as well, I believe that Requiem beat Prestige. They came back on the last race. They were down like 26, and they managed to win by 2 points, or like 24 points going into last race. But yeah, so they managed to get the bye in Conference A, and then I think HD they also beat World Friend and Arc. So they finished on 11-1-4. I'm not sure about World Friend's other result apart from HD just yet. Just see if there's any results up for that.
yeah, I know that Euphoria they went 2-0. They ended up beating JPP and also RK. So they kind of got lucky that they had that kind of cushion on their schedule towards the end. And for StarClan, they did end up winning. We're waiting on one result from them, but they did end up beating JPP. So that still allowed them to have that game advantage and kind of retain their spot in the wild card. But yeah, for MT Vertex, pretty close. Unfortunately, didn't work out. Vertex ended up beating Mushroom Team, and I think we're still waiting the result of Vertex and their latest game. That would have been Vertex versus World Friend, but likely thinking that might have put Vertex potentially 1-1, um, just off of past history. But yeah, really interesting. Kind of still came down to the wire there. There's a reason why there are so many MKU primetime matches in D1, D2. But I think that this could be a little bit more of a wide open playoffs than people might think, honestly.
Yeah, um, this is going to be I think it's going to be really tight playoffs. I think because obviously we just seen HD beat WF, but I think any of these teams who got the top two spots in either conference can beat each other on any given day. It just depends
Yeah.
on how the matches go.
And based off of that, looking at the playoffs too. So the number one rule and how they're doing the playoff bracket is that there are going to be four teams from the A conference, the Star Conference, that are going to be advancing. So with that being said, the first matchup that'll go into effect will be Euphoria up against the 2 seed, which will be Requiem. So that'll be EU and Rec, and then that would be essentially A4 versus A2. They're going to be going up against World Friend. So World Friend will have the bye, I believe. I don't know yet because High Definition also is fighting with them bye. And High Definition,
No, I
actually,
think
now that I'm thinking
World
about it,
Friend World Friend have secured the bye. I think
okay,
HD finished half a game back on them. So
that makes sense. Yeah, because High Definition did go 2-0 today, so I just wanted to double check that. But that's good. That's good for them if they were able to hang on. So if that's the case, then that means that High Definition, they're going to be A2. They're going to be going up against B3, which is going to be Star Clan, and then they're going to
I
be going
think
on to face Prestige.
I think EU, because they went 2-0 and StarClan went 1-1, I think. Um, so they might pass StarClan and become A3, which
Is
would
that
mean
like
it would
related to
be
the tiebreaker? Because the tiebreaker is based off of their individual who beat
no,
who
because I think
scenario.
if StarClan went 1-1, they finish 8-8, and I think with EU going 2-0, they finish 9-7. So they'd overtake
That's
StarClan.
true because Euphoria did win one match. I think we're still waiting on the result to upload there from their other. Yeah, they did because it's RK. So yeah, so they did go 2-0.
Yeah,
They're going to end 9-7.
HDEU and Prestige are playing
So yeah, so HD
StarClan.
will face EU. StarClan will face Requiem. Oh wait, because Prestige went 1-1. Does that mean that Requiem has to buy? Or wait, did
Uh,
Prestige beat them by 4? Correct?
Requiem beat Prestige.
They okay. So then that basically makes that very close. So if Requiem beat Prestige, that means that the next match would decide who has to buy. And we're still waiting on that next Prestige result from what it looks like. Because that would mean that Requiem would go 11-2-2. And granted, they did end up beating RK. So they would have gone 12-2-2, which means actually, yeah, they would still be a half a game up on Prestige. Because even if Prestige wins that game that hasn't been reported yet, that would mean that they're still 12-4.
Yeah, but that means that Requiem still leapfrog them because
Right. Yeah. So Requiem has to buy because of that. That was a huge win over for them
yeah, absolutely.
by 4. So yeah. So that would mean that it's going to be HD Euphoria up against what would be Requiem, and then yeah, like you said, Star Clan and Prestige going on to face Worldfriend. So that is the bracket.
Indeed. Yeah, so that buy may end up proving crucial for Requiem.
Yeah, they did for sure. Lurky's saying they were the winners of the day. That's very true because now they are going to be up, but yes, like a full game over Prestige, and they secured the bye. And Prestige is going to have to go through 2 rounds to even make it to the finals.
Yeah, yeah. And as Ricky says, with both Broadfriend and Prestige being on the same side of the bracket, that's one of
So,
the two closest teams to them on record. Like
so the real
I expect
winner
them.
is maybe Euphoria and HD that kind of dodged Prestige in the other side of the bracket, but that it's all going to kind of shape up at the end again because they're going to have to go play Requiem immediately. Whoever the winner of HD Euphoria is,
Mm,
so that's going to be huge. And then kind of looking kind of down at the bottom end of D1 with RK, they're going to be going into the direct relegation to D2, and Blizzard I would believe
no,
as
I
well.
think
Did Arcadia make it?
um,
Arc
I'm
went one and
pretty
one.
sure. Yeah, Army 1-1, so they finish 6-1-8. Vertex went 1-1, I think, as well.
So let's
So
look
that,
at Blizzard. So Blizzard ended up losing to Arc,
honestly, I
and
think all three
they
teams
beat
leapfrog
MT
MT. I think MT are
because
dropping
MT
from
lost
third
to
in the
Vertex
conference to last.
and they lost to BZ. That's huge. That Blizzard beating MT. by 52. That's going to be 0 and 2. Yeah, for Mushroom Team, that's going to bring them down to 6 and 10. Wow,
Yeah, I think.
that's crazy.
And BZ versus MT. What's the tie break on that?
So the tie,
Try and
if
double
there is a
check.
tiebreaker, the tiebreaker is based off of
And
the
Blizzard, yeah,
if somebody's
Blizzard beat
won
MT
over them.
twice, so that means that
Blizzard
yeah,
hasn't.
MT are last in the division, and Blizzard, I believe, will be fifth in the division. So that means MT and RK are auto relegated, and then JPP and Blizzard will play the relegation matches.
That is so crazy for MT because just imagine you're literally third in your conference. You are a game back from getting a wild card spot. And granted, they did have, I believe, a little bit of a slightly harder schedule compared to some of the other teams, having to like play RK and a few others. But just like that, you go 0 and 2, and you're already at the bottom of your division or bottom
It
of your
shows
conference
it shows how
for that
close
matter.
Conference B has been. It's been absolutely nuts. Like
I
when
mean,
the four
yeah,
when all four teams are within pretty much one game of each other going into the last week, it just shows how close that conference has been. Like there's
it really
been a few
does.
upsets throughout the season. There's been there's been teams that have kind of not done as well some weeks as they kind of hoped. I know for Arcadia, for example, there's been a few matches where we feel we won, but things just didn't go our way. But then, and Vertex at the first half of the season, they were like 1-6. So for them to have a really strong second half, because I know they on one week they played Prestige, and it was either Requiem or World Friend, and they won both those matches. And I think that was the key to their turnaround of the season, and avoid relegation spots basically. So I know they had a really strong second half.
And now you
Yeah,
have to wonder how is MT going to respond next season, playing so well in D1, but now going to be going to a whole nother dimension. And then with that being said, you're going to have a few teams kind of hop into. You're going to have two teams, right? Two teams hop into, or even more than that, hop into the upper divisions from the previous division.
um, well, we're gonna have to wait and see as to how that all falls
Oh,
out next
right, off
season.
the
I think.
relegation matches. You're right. Yeah, it's still. I mean, I know the format is still like new to me because I'm so used to round robin, um, and waking up and only playing one game a day versus this 2 hours full of warring. But yeah, it's this is going to be just crazy. I mean, I think if you're kind of looking at this all from a macro level, every division is going to have a challenge in some case. I mean, just thinking of like some of these like hypothetical situations that we're still waiting for some of the results to come in, and some of them obviously being final here. I mean, this is just going to be just brutal for some teams. This is one of the very closest I think MKUs that I've seen in the 3 seasons that I've played all across the board.
Yeah, there's been so many tight divisions, and like just looking at the whole season in general, there's been so many. I think this has been the division that has also had the I think the most ties that I think we've ever seen in MKU history. I think there's been 8 ties across the 6 divisions.
Yeah,
And
it's just crazy, and it's just interesting too because I know that there was a someone posted this somewhere in the MKC one of the chats, or maybe it was a staff chat. I don't know. But basically, the premise of it is, and I agree with I think whoever posted it might have been Mikkel, is that normally when you're looking at the 6 divisions, just from a logical standpoint, divisions 1 and division 6 are going to have the biggest disparity on paper, right? Because you have the high skill gap, you have like a developmental division with a wide skill gap as well. But then when you kind of get in the middle, you're getting in that groove of 3 and 4. It should hypothetically be very tight. And what's interesting is we're kind of seeing the biggest gap mainly because there was a team that dropped and because of a team that was just playing out of their minds. That gap being D5, but seeing D6, D1 being super close, D2 being super close. There were 3 or 4 teams fighting for the D3 wild card, and even matches coming down to the wire in D4. I mean, it's crazy, and you really got to give credit to the staff that take time to do these seedings because that's made this such a very hype and exciting season.
Yeah, I think overall we've done like the seedings were done fairly well, and that has definitely helped, as you said, to create some really interesting and close divisions like across the board. And yeah, like overall, I think it's been a really good season. There's been there's not been many issues this season. Like I think it's been a season that's been quite smooth overall, and we haven't seen like that many issues compared to previous ones. So honestly, I just want to give a shout out to everyone that's played MKU this season. Um, things have been continuing to get stronger, I think, and we're only going to continue to do so as time goes on. And yeah, so kudos to everyone in the community for being legends and making
Yeah.
this fun game and community to be a part of.
Yeah, I'll just I think I already kind of gave my closing thoughts. I think that's this is going to be such a hype season. I'm just looking in the chat just for the D4 fam. Yeah, again, congratulations to all the Spanish teams just killing Conference A and all of them making the playoffs as well. That's going to be very hype. And yeah, I mean, kind of that's going to be a whole nother thing. We kind of addressed it earlier in the stream, but they're going to all be those three teams, Final Emblem, KT, are all going to be ones to watch. I mean, D1 being super crazy, kind of wide open with WF and Prestige on the same side of the bracket. D2
Yeah,
again having, I mean, looking at my notes, there were about 7 or 8 teams kind of in the mix in the very final week. Same thing with D3, about 7 teams. D4 again, and like another 2 to 3 teams fighting for that wild card spot. So this has just been very exciting, and yeah, we're just gonna have to stay tuned for the future playoff matches. And I know we're gonna be likely having MKU Prime Time pick back up for the playoffs, and we're gonna have some really exciting like D1, D2 style matches for next few weeks.
yeah. So I think heading into playoffs next week, just everyone keep your eyes peeled on the your schedules coming up. They will be posted during the week. I'm pretty sure, once all the results are in and tables updated and everything's sorted, those will get sorted out as well.
Yeah, I think just obviously consult your MKU admin. I do have a final thought to say, and that is just because of what's going on in the world with the whole Corona thing, this is a really good opportunity for the community to really like show support in some of these streams, promote the stream, because there isn't as many real mainstream sports going on TV. So this is a really good time, and I'll just kind of keep it broad in general. Interpret it for what you will to really get the MKC scene out there, like on Twitch, promote your own local streams, and just keep on keeping on.
Yeah, I echo that. And obviously, stay safe as well.
That too, for sure.
All right.
I mean, it's a whole
So,
nother discussion, but yeah, we'll keep
yeah.
it there.
So, last little thing. Who do you think is going to take D1?
Man, I mean, I really wish that I had the time to really study the divisions more. I even have I'm a travel agent, so I've just been so immersed in what's been going on current events wise to where I really haven't been able to focus because honestly, all the matches that I've casted and I've seen others cast, they've come down to the very end. I think you could argue the case for Prestige. They are in a really unique side of the bracket. Maybe high definition can get up there, but I think the 3 teams to watch out for out of the 6, I'll just leave it at this. It's going to be World Friend, Requiem, and Prestige.
All right. That sounds fair.
What about you?
So, I'm gonna go on Olympia and I'm gonna say HD.
I think so. I actually was thinking about that before. I just think I don't know. I mean, they're going to be going up against Requiem. That's just the one thing for me that just made me lose my conviction.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, you can't rule out any of the teams.
No.
Because obviously, as Rookie has just said, with EU going 2-0 against Prestige, it shows that any team has the potential.
Yeah, I remember casting that match, and it was very interesting seeing how you outplayed Prestige there. So who knows? I mean, this is what's making this really exciting. And I think we just literally just have to stay tuned and see. This is not over by any means for any of these teams. I think that this new conference format has really made it kind of exciting in some ways, especially too with kind of how things are playing out at the very end of the season after 8 weeks and 16 matches. So we'll have to see, but I'm very excited.
Yeah. All right. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and bring things to a close. I think we've covered most things that we need to.
I think so too.
So
Yeah, it's been a fun cast. We kind of broke this down. Hopefully, it wasn't too boring. Hopefully, everyone got the shout outs and the recognition they deserved, and keep on keeping on for the playoffs.
yeah, so then just keep your eyes peeled for your brackets. They'll be releasing within the next couple of days. And yeah, any questions, just speak to any of us MKU staff and your division admins as well. So yeah, with that, it's been Knight, it's been Stevens. Thanks, Cinder, for hosting. And we shall catch you all next time for another fantastic MKU Prime